Hello everyone, I represent Other Bams Creations, and today I want to show us how we can draft a princess bustier dart. So we can either attach it to a peplum or attach it to a skirt so that we make it into a full gown. I would like you to stay to the end of the tutorial because there are a lot of things I'll be showing us. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. As you can see, I have my front basic bodice, and this my pattern paper is on fold. What you will do to know the least amount of paper that you will put on fold is that you will divide your bust measurement by 4. Quarter of my bust is 10.25. I'm going to be adding 5 or 6 inches to it, so you can see I have more than enough. I have some basic lines that I have drawn here. This is from our basic bodice tutorial. I'll drop the link in the description box. Let me just briefly explain the lines that I've already drawn. This is my top line, this is my chest line, here is my bust line, my under bust line, my waistline, and between my waistline and this seam allowance line, that's 1 inch. Though I just need half an inch to join it. This is the center front and it's on fold. This line is my bust pan line. My bust pan is 8 inches. Because this paper has been placed on fold, I will divide 8 by 2 to give me 4. And you know I will need half an inch to join it here. So that's why I'm adding half an inch to it. If you choose not to add allowance to it, you may do so. Just remember to add the allowance when you are transferring to your fabric. So I have here 4.5 inches. When you are drafting your pattern, it's better you use pencil to draft, because even at this now, I can see that this marker has actually added to my measurement, but it doesn't matter. This is for tutorial purpose, but when you are drafting, it's better to draft with pencil. I decided to use a marker because I want you to really see what I'm drafting. The measurements needed are both horizontal and vertical. I equally explained this into detail when we were taking measurement. I will drop the link to the measurement video so that you can check it out. For my horizontal measurement, I need my shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement is divided into 2. I added half an inch for seam. This is my chest line. My chest line is my bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. My bust is 41. 41 divided by 6 gave me 6.8, and to that 6.8 I added 1.5 inches so that I have 8.3. That's approximately 8.25, 8.25. So, and that is what I have here. Here is my shoulder slope. I actually used 1 inch as my shoulder slope. It all depends on your preference. You can choose to use half an inch, you can use more. I have my bust line, under bust line, waist line, and I have my seam allowance. We remember that I said basic bodice drafting is the foundation to whatever we are going to be drafting, and that is what we are going to adapt even in drafting this our princess bustier. I have around 1/4, almost 8.5. So I'll divide it by 2 and put a mark here. So from here, I'll just go in either by half an inch or by 3/4. Let me pick half an inch. And I have my top line here. My bust is 41. 41 divided by 4 will give me 10.25. I'm going to be adding an ease of 2.25. That's altogether I have 10.5. So I'll pick my bust measurement on my chest line. I'm picking 10.5, and on my bust line as well, I'll pick 10.5. So as you can see, we have this point here, we have this point here, and this point here. So I'm going to be using my armhole curve. This is my pattern master. It is very, very useful. So I'll just join the points together to draft our princess bustier. I will go up by 1 inch on my bust line here, and I will equally come down by 1 inch here. So let me join the line here. I'll now measure it. I have almost 10 here. So that means I will look for the midpoint, which is 5 inches. From this midpoint, I'm going to be connecting to this place. From this line, I'll go up by half an inch and come down by half an inch. Then I'll equally join with a curve to that our 1 inch mark. There are different schools of thought on this princess dart, but I'm going to be using another method here. On my under bust line, that's my UB line, I'll come out by 2 inches. And then on the waistline, I'll equally come out by 2 inches. I'll connect from the under bust line to the waistline by a straight line. You will notice that when we drew our curve, it didn't touch the bust line because we don't want to have a pointy edge from the 1 inch below the bust line. So I'm now going to connect with a curve, and I'm going to be blending the curve. If we should cut this like this, this place will be a bit short. So let's measure what we have here. I think we have like 1 inch gap here. I'm going to be extending this line by 1.5. My armhole is going to change. Then, I extended here by 1.5. So on the chest line, I'm going to extend my bust by 1.5. Then I will redraw my armhole curve. So I'm going to be cancelling this one. I'm going to be going by this new armhole line. This extension and this extension here and the extension here is just to cater for the difference that will be cutting out. And you will notice that there is nothing pointy here. This is just straight. So by the time we are sewing it, you will see that there will be no pointed edge. Everything will just line all together. Now we need to put in our horizontal measurement. My bust is 41. 41 divided by 4 will give me 10.25. This is 10.25. I'm going to be adding 2.5 inches seam allowance here. On my waistline, my waist is 38. 38 divided by 4 will give me 9.5. I have 2 inches dart intake here. I'm going to be adding it to that 9.5 to give me 11.5. Then I'm going to be adding 2.5 inches. So let me just measure 11.5 first. Then I'm adding 2.5 inches as my seam allowance. So I'm going to be joining this. Here is our front draft. So here is the front. I will still increase the wideness maybe to around 3.5 or 4 inches, or depending on, and I will even increase the depth, but that one is not going to be a problem. I will do that when I transfer this pattern to the fabric. So let's keep this aside and quickly see how we can draft the back. I'm going to be using the back basic bodies that we have drafted before. Here is my chest line. You already know how to get the chest line, and I've drawn the armhole. on my chest line, I measured the cutter of my bust, and I just joined it. I didn't come in by ½ inch here. On my waistline, I'm going to be measuring my bust pan, which is 4 plus ½ inch. That's 4½. So I'm going to be measuring 4½. My back dart will start from my chest line. Then on both sides of this line, I will measure ½ inch. So I'll connect it. I explained how to eliminate zipper bulge in one of my videos. I'm going to equally link it here. So here is the zipper allowance. This is 2 inches. This is slightly above 2 inches, but I'm going to rectify it. So now on my waistline, I'll come in by ½ inch, and from that ½ inch, I will join it up. I will now measure either 1½ or 2 inches. Let me make use of 1½ inches as for my zipper allowance. On the chest line, I've already imputed my bust measurement. Let's put an allowance of 2½ inches here. And on my waistline, from this zipper line, I'll measure my waistline, which is 9½ plus 1 inch that intake, that's 10½. Then I will add 2½ inches. So I'm going to be joining that my chest line. So I'm going to be cutting this out. I'll be adding ½ inch for seam allowance at the top part here. And also the basic neck, which is 3 by 1 or 3 by 1½. I can choose to increase that later. And I'm going to be extending it to the zipper line. I'll be cutting this out. This is my back bodice, and so I'm going to be cutting 2 of this. Before we wrap up our cutting, I told us when we were taking measurements that the front is usually longer than the back. This is the side front and this is the side back, and if you match them together, you will see that there is a difference here. Let me check the difference between the two. I have 8½ here, and on my side back I have 7½. So meaning that I have a difference of 1 inch between the front and the back. You know, at the end of the day, we are going to be joining this side front to the side back. So there should be a way for us to eliminate this so that it's not affected when we are doing this one. So there are so many ways by which we can eliminate this difference. One of the ways is to introduce bust dart. I've treated bust dart in one of the videos. You can check the link in the description box. But here I'm not going to be using the bust dart method. Since I have a difference of 1 inch between the side front and the side back, what I'm going to do to eliminate this difference so that they can match up is to just remove 1 inch from the side front, and this I have measured 1 inch from the side front. This side must match up with this side, so I'm not going to be touching it. So I'll just come in by like ½ inch or 1 inch here, and then with my cuff I'll just try to eliminate this side. All I need to just do is to cut this off now. By the time I finish cutting it out, you can see that the side can now match, and our front length will not be affected. I want to appreciate you all for staying to the end of this cutting process. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel.